Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. Today is stage 16 of La Vuelta a España. Let's get straight to the sprint because it was exciting, right? Big group, 50, 60 guys coming down to the finish. And it's Movistar on the front with 2K still to go. They've already been on the front for quite a while, chasing Remy Cavagna, the Deceuninck Quick-Step rider who's doing a fabulous show up there solo after he dropped the 6 breakaway companions throughout the stage. He's doing a great job all on his own. Movistar's back there trying to bring him back. At first you can see they're just kind of holding him there. Then they want to bring him back. They get him back. The problem is with 2K to go, they have 4 guys on the front. That's not bad, but it's not going to work unless it's 4 really strong, fast, fresh legs. Instead, they got 4 guys who aren't field sprinters. They don't do lead-out trains. They're not experienced in it. They got one Alejandro Valverde who hasn't been on his best form, but he is still Alejandro Valverde. And this kind of crushes my soul, folks, because he's one of my favorite. He always has been. He wins everything. He's just a classy rider in the field. His comments after the races throughout all the time that I've raced against him have always been fantastic. His class in the field is great. So today's stage kind of hurts me deep down inside when I see Valverde just get handed to it in the sprint. But it starts at 4K to go, and this is why. 2K to go, 4 riders on the front. 4 riders just are not going to do it. So right away, 200 meters after the 2K sign, the 4th rider pulls off. Now you're down with 3 with 1.8K to go. That's not doable because one rider has to get his second to last lead out man somewhere down to 700 meters so he can punch it all the way to 3 or 250. Then Alejandro Valverde should launch off his wheel at that point in time. That's not what happens. Right away, the 4th rider pulls off at 1.8K to go. Second rider pulls 400 meters. At the same time when the FDJ rider is attacking on the left side, he pulls off. Now they're left with 1.4K before the line and only 2 riders. That means one rider has to lead out Alejandro Valverde for more than 1K. At this point in time, if I'm Alejandro Valverde, I got to be rethinking the plans and I got to think fast. Good sprinters think fast. Alejandro Valverde surprised me on this stage. He's experienced. He's done a lot of sprints. We all know he's 40 years of age. This guy's all class. I was surprised he let his teammate stay on the front for as long as he did. He has a couple options. When the FDJ rider attacks his teammate, he is doing an amazing job. Okay, it's the last lead out guy. He's absolutely unbelievable, but it ain't going to be enough. Nobody could do it. Maybe Fabian Cancellara at his peak height of form could do it, but that's it. It takes a rider of that ability and that level of fitness to be able to get this job done. Now, Alejandro Valverde's last teammate does an amazing job, but this is where Alejandro Valverde goes wrong. When they start going into a slight bit of a roundabout there with about 1.2K to go, I believe, Alejandro Valverde need to sit up and let his teammate go across the gap on his own. That would have caused some chaos in the back, and it would have probably had forced the UAE Team Emirates team to have to take the front and allow Valverde to get back into the slipstream. That's option number 1 that Valverde had at about 1K to go. Decide to call abort on his one lead out team and go back, hide in the bunch, and hope somebody closes it. Most likely that rider can close to the FDJ rider and they can play their own tricks for the win if somebody in the back doesn't. Okay? Instead, Valverde decides to stay on his teammate's wheel. So now his teammate's been pulling for 400 meters. Around 600 meters or so is when the Movistar rider finally secures and catches the FDJ rider, and they come out of the hard last right-hand turn, and you see him do one more punch. But folks, he's been doing 1K at 100% already, and he'd probably been riding for the last 20Ks before he got on the front to do his effort. Now Valverde's got another dilemma he has to fix. Okay, George Bennett attacks with 500 meters to go. Alejandro Valverde immediately switches to George Bennett's wheel. At that point in time when he saw George Bennett come across, I'm not blaming him for this. But if he would have seen it was George Bennett, you would know George Bennett's probably not going to win the sprint from 500 meters out. So you let George Bennett go, and somebody from the back has to close it, and then you follow that wheel. Instead, Valverde directly jumps on George Bennett's wheel. George Bennett is not a lead-out man. I was teammates for a couple years with George Bennett. He's a great guy, but he is not a lead-out sprint man. That's not what he does. To highlight that that's not what he does, I almost died laughing and fell off the couch when I saw George Bennett go by with 500 meters, and 100 meters later, he's waving his elbow like here. This is the universal sign of, hey, somebody come through and take a pull. Okay, nobody's going to come through and take a pull when you're doing the sprint. I've never seen anyone coming down the sprint unless they have their team all lined out and they swing off and give the elbow. That's all good. But when you're doing the lead out at that point in time, once you commit, you do 100 meters and then your elbow starts flying out like a little chicken. I just almost died laughing and fell off the couch. So Valverde's stuck now. He's already covered the move. He's on George Bennett's wheel. George Bennett's throwing the chicken arm out there, and he swings hard off. Valverde's left in the wind at 400 meters. Even at this point, Valverde still has the option to back off the pedal. We call it pull in the clutch. You pull in the clutch a little bit. You let the guys come around you. At least, maybe if you're pulling in the clutch, you're not riding 100% from that 400 meters to 250, and then you got to pop the clutch out and go to the line. A good sprinter does that. I've seen it. It's been done to me many times. I had it done to me from Gord Frazier back in the day. He would clutch me left and right. I think I'd have him beat, and then he popped the clutch, bam, gone, and wins the race. I end up second, third, or fourth or something. Alejandro Valverde had multiple times to fix this problem of the Movistar team. He just did not choose the right option. He jumps with 400 meters. Finally, after Bennett does his wave with the chicken arm, he jumps 400 meters. You can't win. At that point in time, when I'm watching it from the couch, I already know that's not the winner, and I start focusing on somebody else. Now, Magnus Cort Nelson. If you watch him, throughout the sprint, he's in the perfect spot all the time. Fourth, fifth, sixth wheel the whole time. Always just bumping his way up. Easily, smooth, always in the draft. And then a big hit to the line. The big hit to the line brings him a fabulous win on today's stage 16. Nobody in this group's a pure sprinter, but he's very fast, and so is Alejandro Valverde. But since Valverde eliminated himself out of the sprint, Magnus Cort Nelson is left, and of course, Primož Roglič. Okay, Primož Roglič finishes second and gets time bonuses. And so here's the big dilemma. Okay, Ineos, they lost the jersey. Richard Carapaz lost it in the time trial. They're trying to get it back, and they're trying to throw everything they can, any stage possible. This is why you have to wait for the right moment in time. They ride on the big climb. They can't ride fast enough to split anyone. They ride down the descent. They can't get Primož Roglič to crash or have a bad accident or something, because you're not going to drop them down the descent. What Ineos did, and right now Jumbo-Visma is laughing in the bus. They split the group. They got rid of all the fast sprinters, and they hand-delivered bonus seconds to Primož Roglič at the finish line. If you can't get rid of Primož Roglič, you want all the bonus seconds gone. I've talked about it here on the butterfly effect many times now during this Vuelta. Don't bring Primož Roglič to the line. He smells it like the horse smells water, and he's riding fantastic. There's no sprinters left. Of course, he's going to do the sprint. He steals the time bonuses, and if you look when they cross the line and he gets second, I'm not a fantastic lip reader, and maybe it reads something different in his language, but it looks like he was pretty upset and he was expecting the win. That's how good Primož Roglič is and what he was expecting on today. Ineos hand-delivered time bonuses to him. It was a big mistake for them to ride all day long and leave Jumbo-Visma rested. Now, talk about the jersey here. 2 jerseys are framed in the house. Okay, one from the Tour of Redlands, way back in the day when I won, maybe 2000, I believe, is the jersey year that's framed. One for me is framed, and a national championship jersey. This thing's absolutely beautiful, okay? The only problem is it's not mine. The jersey belongs to my wife. She's national Esquire Road champion 2 times, 02 and 03. And so this one is framed, and one from Redlands. Those are the only two jerseys framed in the house. And she reminds me all the time that I do not have a national championship jersey, so I get humbled often in the house. I got a lot of good wins, but no national championship jersey, and she always reminds me of that. Look forward to tomorrow's stage. Ineos have been absolutely trying to blow up race all over the place since they lost the time trial. Now they're going to be tired for tomorrow. Carapaz could be isolated and by himself in the final group if Ineos look as weak as they did today on tomorrow's stage when it gets difficult. All the other teams have been resting, while Ineos has been trying to deliver blows on stages that don't matter. Now tomorrow matters. Look for Carapaz. He could be isolated and all on his own on the final climb tomorrow's stage. Primož Roglič looks great. The only hope for anyone to win this Vuelta is going to be Primož Roglič having a bad day. Jumbo-Visma look fantastic. They have been around them all day long, all month long. Tomorrow is going to be a last stage that they really got to defend. And then, of course, it's a sprinter day on Sunday. Hope you enjoyed the butterfly effect. See you real soon.